are you talking about?
Hey, Homebody in the house. And I want to talk about the late great David Lynch. Sadly, he is no longer with us, but what he leaves behind is an amazing body of work that will surely live on. He was a visionary in every sense of the word, and a bit of a character himself. Lynch's unique perspective of the world explored through his art takes us into a world of his own, one that is beautiful, dark, and strange. So for tonight, let's get reintroduced to David Lynch with his surreal and nightmarish feature debut. What started as a passion project taking 5 years to make after receiving a grant from the American Film Institute, Eraserhead finally made it in front of a small audience, and gradually the film grew a cult-like following, growing its popularity from midnight movie screenings. Since its release, the film has had strong divisive reactions.
Some inane, bizarre person with a disturbed mind wrote that film, and I did not enjoy it. I enjoyed it very much. My kind of movie.
One thing everyone can agree on is, it's like nothing else. The film delves into a realm that is reminiscent of a nightmare, and encourages a sense of wonder that resonates personally with what you take away from it. And for Lynch, your interpretation is just as valid as his. But call it Eraserhead simply a horror film wouldn't do it justice. This, along with his other works, is a film that can only be described as Lynchian, a cinematic style that speaks for itself. It's in how the story is told, how things feel fragmented, how dialogue sounds a particular way, or how a person behaves, or it's how the genre can bend from humorous to horrifying, even to the absurd. These different experimental techniques create a vibe that's just a little off. But it allows for an inviting type of experience where you don't know what could happen next, and it can only get stranger. This allows him to explore dreams, the subconscious, the mysterious places where ideas emerge. Through its imaginative and perplexing presentation, it strikes much more of an emotional nerve that hits something deeper than a cheap thrill. This is what makes him such a brilliant artist. As soon as the film starts, it feels less like a movie and more like a dream plucked right from the inside of Lynch's mind. Here we are introduced to Henry, and we see the fear in his face and that he must enter darkness. This is a constant thread that reoccurs throughout, a constant darkness that pulls you in. When Henry traverses the outside, the landscape is industrial and decrepit, void of a sense of space nor time. The sky is nearly non-existent, and the air is filled with a sense of danger. His apartment is a world of its own too, one of confinement, where looking into a radiator is more pleasing than looking out the window. Even for a homebody like me, it's anything but ideal. What's important to Lynch and to Eraserhead is its mood and atmosphere. These are some of the most striking black and white images in a film, and like a good nightmare, they stick with you. The frame is most often shrouded in shadows, and scenes too fade in and out of these shadows that convey a feeling of floating through vignettes, each evoking feelings of unease, mystery, claustrophobia. The sound design too especially draws you in, meticulously designed by Lynch himself. It's almost always present, loud enough to be noticeable, but also depicts a kind of silence. Either way, it's suffocating. As for the narrative, it can be told rather simply. Henry's life changes when he is confronted with fatherhood and all the responsibilities and angst that follows. Every new problem only gets worse. The child is mutated, maybe even an alien. His wife is in distress and unfit to help. Her family is strange with their own set of problems. His identity that he once knew is being pulled from him, and he is being confronted with this reality all at once. But instead of focusing on what is happening on the surface, it feels much more like the emotions Henry is feeling are being reflected externally. He tries to keep his cool as his world increasingly closes in on him. He has nowhere to escape but his own dark and vivid imagination. There were several parallels to Lynch's real life that were speculated to be an influence. He used to live in Philadelphia and said it was a frightening time and often felt unsafe. He was also a young father at the time, and as bizarre as he makes it seem, maybe it was just a creative outlet for uncomfortable thoughts and feelings. Whether it's Henry's own dreams or the film adaptation of real dreams, I think the film stands itself as an original and honest work of art, the manifestation of a dark imagination in the modern industrial world. It reminds us that cinema has the power to capture these dreams, and no one could depict a dream, or a nightmare, quite like David Lynch. So go where your nightmares end with his breakout cult classic. Have you peeped Eraserhead? If so, what do you think? What does it all mean? How does it make you feel? And for more coming soon, peep the links. You know where I'll be.